Smackdown. I am hoping I can do this quick because Smackdown was okay. It wasn't great this week. So I hope I can do this really in 15 minutes, but we will see. So, Smackdown in 15. Let's get going. Does this work? Yes. Okay. Just testing it out. Okay. So, we're back for another review. This time we're going to break down November 14th edition of Smackdown from Albany, New York at the MVP Arena. We had two more. This night we had two more. The Last Time Is Now tournament matches. We had more the War Games drama from the previous Raw show continue. I'm going to take Cody Rhodes dealing with half the locker room and a main event that ended in pure chaos. So let's get into it. But before we do, what is Ryusei saying? Going to take a jab, but you are doing this much better than someone we know. Damn, thank you. Well, I appreciate that. SmackDown was decent. But now they're about to... They announced that they're going to make Raw 3 hours again. They can't even make 2 hours work on a normal basis. Why do 3? Stop it. We don't need 3 hours. So anyway, let's start the opening. So the show opens, which I'm glad they did because that's how Raw ended. So that's a beautiful transition that I appreciate because it reminded me of the good old 2000 era when they did that a lot, which was good. We started with the women's War Games drama. They started with a recap. They did a little recap of the War Games setup. Then after the promo, it went to the ring with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Ripley stated that the Kabuki Warriors don't have a numbers advantage anymore. She brings out her teammates, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Alexa locks in, but Charlotte, not so much. Charlotte calls out Ripley a snake, says she doesn't trust her, and pretty much walks out. Just like that, the babyface team is already falling apart. And the War Games match is getting messier by the week, I guess. So, it's obvious they needed to add a little more story to this. I guess they saw people talking about after Raw that there isn't much of a story going on besides the Rhea Ripley, Io Sky versus Kabuki Warriors. So, they needed to add a little more element. It's the will they work? Will they be able to work together? Typical storyline segment. So, can Charlotte Flair really trust Rhea Ripley and work together? Charlotte is more of a heel. I wish she goes back to a heel and just go against Stephanie Becker. That could be an interesting match. Maybe. I honestly don't know. I don't know. But anyway, that segment went to a close, and that's pretty much going to be now the next story. Can they work together? We'll see how that develops. So, the first match of the night was the continuation of the Last Time Is Now tournament. Jey Uso versus The Miz. Poor old Miz. I wish... he needed him. It would have been nice if he had a match with Cena, but obviously we're not going to see that anytime soon. Or ever at this point. Miz... During Jey Uso's entrance, Miz interrupts his entrance, and obviously because of that, Albany gives him a huge set of boos. And from there, the match starts pretty quick. Miz knees him down, tries the clothesline, and Jey reverses into a backslide. Miz goes for a skull-crushing finale, blocks it, Jey hits a suicide dive. Then it goes into commercial. After the commercial break comeback, Miz hits a DDT and even runs the John Cena comeback sequence. So, you know, the shoulder, da-da-da-da-da-da. Anyway, and gets a good reaction. But he tries a top rope finale, but Jey counters, hits his spear, hits the Superfly Splash, and moves on to the next part of the tournament. Unfortunately, it's an unfortunate thing for The Miz. I love The Miz too. Miz is great on the mic. I love it. I hate him as a heel, which is why I like him. If you as a heel make me hate you when I know it's not real, you're doing a freaking bang of a job. And Miz is one of them. Back in the day when I was as a kid, I saw Triple H the same way. That's why I love Triple H as a heel. And Miz was one of them when I was when I'm in my teens or whatever. So Miz did what Miz always does: lose without losing credibility. People still like him. People still hate him. He's still one of the most valuable utility players in the WWE. But for now, Jay's moving on, and I guess that's the right call. I'll be honest, I don't know if it's the right call. Jay already got his moment earlier this year. He became champ. Miz has been barely used. It would have been nice Miz went deeper into the tournament, because I can see him just doing promos. I know John Cena's not going to show up to every event, but he could have shown up. If Miz would have won tonight, Miz could have gone to Madison Square Garden on Monday and just talk shit. The best thing that Miz can do is talk shit. He could have talked crap to John Cena. They could have had a nice back and forth backstage, or even on rings at the ring. It would have been a great moment to have. I think the Miz and Cena rivalry is not much remembered, I feel, about the matches. It's more about the mic work. So that could have been done. Miz could have moved on to the match and lose that match, and that's it. But it would have been nice to have that one segment between Miz and Cena throwing their best wits at each other, because I think it would have been fantastic. But that's me. Racy saying, yeet yeet. More like fell off the top turnbuckle. Yeah, well. Yeah. Anyway, backstage, DIY, Dragunov, and Nick Aldis hang out for some business. I wish they did more promos than just... Like, I just noticed this whole week, and maybe it's because I haven't watched consistently for a few weeks. They just do backstage segments. They don't do anything more beyond backstage segments. Did R-Truth have his match yet? No. DIY asks Dragunov why Ciampa didn't get a title shot. Dragunov says tonight's challenger is someone who fights with honor. Oh shit. All this leaves, runs into Heyman and Bronson Reed. Tension immediately in the air. Heyman always scheming. So Heyman is planning something as always. But anyway, Heyman reminds Aldis that War Game rules allow him to pick any wrestler from any brand. Hint, hint. I wonder who his fifth person will be. I'm wondering if it's a beast incarnated. Cody Rhodes interrupts, wanting a match with Reed tonight. Heyman complains, as always, says it should be for the title. Otherwise, it's not worth Bronson Reed's time to challenge and go into a match with you. Cody tells Aldis to book it. So we are getting, for the main event, Cody Rhodes versus Bronson Reed for the WWE Undisputed title. Aldis does, Heyman smiles, and it's like he stole Christmas. But Heyman's always stealing. It's WWE loves to make up rules whenever they can. Yeah, but it's also more like Heyman can make rules whenever he wants. Heyman loves doing, but you can trust him for the most part. Anyway, United States title, Dragunov versus the person he said has honor, which is Axiom. Hey, that's true. Axiom challenges Dragunov for the United States title, and this match was quite excellent for SmackDown standards. Axiom starts fast with technical grappling and headlock. Dragunov fires back with takedowns. Axiom tries catching him up top, but no luck. Big top rope backsplash from Dragunov gets 2 count. And then it goes to commercial break. Love commercial breaks. After the break, Dragunov hits rolling German suplexes. Axiom answers with a missile dropkick and the springboard moonsault DDT, which looked absolutely nasty. Super Spanish fly connects, but the golden ratio is blocked by our Torpedo Moscow. Then the H-bomb ends it. Axiom looked like a star in defeat when Dragunov pinned him, but Dragunov continues building towards his showdown with, I guess, Ciampa in the coming weeks. It was a great match, but unfortunately, it's not Axiom's time. Who knows when it's his time, but we are definitely seeing Dragunov versus Ciampa probably in the future. I would love if they make this a main event match, if this happens on SmackDown. Like, I definitely like when they put the secondary title on Raw and SmackDown as a main event feature. But we will see. We will see. What's next? Talking about R-Truth. More backstage chaos. R-Truth, once again, he did it last week, he's doing it again this week. He's asking and begging and putting the balls in Aldis Court to enter him in the tournament. There's still one mystery spot left. Or 2 mystery spot left. So maybe he will be in it. Aldis just looks at him. And then another one. Like, Aldis is just getting busy today. That night. Chelsea Green demands from Aldis Pyro. Aldis agrees just to shut her up. Because now she's the U.S. champ. She wants her. She didn't get, when she won the title last week, she didn't get the typical, when you win a title, they release pyros. They didn't do it for Chelsea last week, so she demands it now. Ciampa attacks Axiom backstage. Fraser saves him. And that's it. So, obviously, Ciampa is the next man in line. Alright, what's next? Sami Zayn returns. Sami Zayn hits the ring and talks about his U.S. title run and being sidelined. But tonight, he's medically cleared. Finally. Congratulations, Sami Zayn. Hopefully, you don't get injured so soon. And whatever. He calls out Solo Sikoa. Wonder what that's leading to. Solo warns Sami that he's still hurt. And they could destroy him right then and now. I forgot about MTF or MIFT. MIFT? Is it MFT? Who cares? They're a bootleg bloodline, and it hasn't worked. Why are they still trying? But whatever. Anyway, but Sami didn't come alone. Shinsuke Nakamura, the Motor City Machine Guns, and Rey Fenix all hit the ring. Phoenix nails a huge corkscrew drive and a massive brawl in Bells. And obviously this is setting up for something amongst this group. Hopefully for Survivor Series. We will see. There's a lot of backstage segments on SmackDown. That's crazy. Usos and Rhodes are backstage. Jay and Cody continue talking, and out of nowhere, Jimmy Uso arrives, saying he has their backs at War Games. Whether anyone believes him, that's another story, though. Because Jimmy's been here and there, but yeah, he has his back. Does that mean he's the 5th person in their team? We'll find out. It's not Roman Reigns, though. Everyone thinks Roman's Reigns. Remember what Roman said to Jay and Jimmy, that he doesn't want to see them until Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner. Was it Thanksgiving? I think it was Christmas. I'll see you at Christmas. So, the 5th person, it's either Jimmy or not Roman Reigns. Anyway, so another backstage. I didn't have the right image for it, but Solo Sikoa versus Sami Zayn is announced. Nick Aldis announced the match, but it's not for Survivor Series. So to be clear, they are doing, between the 2 teams that brawled earlier that night, they are doing a Survivor Series match, but not a Survivor Series. They're doing it on the SmackDown the night before Survivor Series. So we're not getting a Survivor Series match on Survivor Series. We're getting it on SmackDown before Survivor Series. Great. It's like having the Royal Rumble on the SmackDown before the Royal Rumble. Okay. Sure. I guess that was close enough. Anyway, see, the matches were great on SmackDown, but it's moments like these that kind of annoyed me. Be right back. Taking Doggles out. Are they still going? They are still doing it cause The Rock says so. Yeah, The Rock just wants it. Yeah, like pre-WrestleMania SmackDown. Guys, You can do other matches as a pre-Survivor Series. Um, I love Survivor Series. I love the concept. One of the best last Survivor Series matches I remember, it was the one that it was Cena's group versus Seth Rollins' group when Seth Rollins first turned heel, and he was part of he was part of Triple H's corporate group, and that was the night that Sting finally appeared. It was a okay Survivor Series, but it just had so many moments that it was memorable. That's what I remember as one of the last good Survivor Series. If someone knows a more recent one, let me know, because I can't remember anymore. That's as far as my brain goes. Every other promotion has a Survivor Series match except WWE. Exactly. You can do War Games, but that should not be a. War Games should not be a thing relegated to one event a year. It should be used the same way as Hell in the Cell, as a, like I said, as a feud ender. We can have a War Games on WrestleMania. We have 2 nights. You can do it on one of those nights. But if it means it helps end a feud, not only end the feud, but also have a lot of people on WrestleMania, great. But whatever. All right, continuing to the Last Time Is Now tournament. LA Knight versus mystery opponent. Who is that mystery opponent? Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, it's Zack Ryder. It's not Matt Cardona. It's Zack Ryder. So apparently they did a slight remix of O Radio, and the crowd pops huge. But everyone was expecting them to say Matt Cardona, given that he showed up on NXT on behalf of TNA as Matt Cardona. But I guess when you transcend from NXT to main roster, he shows up as Zack Ryder. And I get it because of the memorabilia history between Zack Ryder and John Cena. But it should have been Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona built himself since he's left. Matt Cardona is the indie god. He was once a House of Glory champ in the nearest promotion that's by me. And he was amazing. He helped that company a lot. He's a good thing. He should have been given the blessing to be able to call himself by whatever he was called, which he probably wanted to be called Matt Cardona. But anyway, that Sting Survivor Series was 2014. Thank you. Latest, greatest Survivor Series was the NXT Invasion. There you go. Thank you. I'm going to have to recap that one. Anyway, they started slow in that match. Ryder tries the Rough Rider early, but misses. Knight gets tossed outside. After the commercial break, Knight fires up with a left jab and a neck breaker. Ryder hits the reboot. Knight answers with a sit-out powerbomb. Rough Rider and from Zack Ryder, and gets only a count of 2. LA Knight counters the middle rope dropkick into a powerbomb and hits the BFT Blood Force Trauma for the win. It was a short match, but a nice appearance by Matt Cardona was great. Knight advances. Ryder gets a nice payday though. He has confirmed that he is not signed by WWE and this was a one-off. But he did say he's happy to come back to do more one-offs if they want it. He knows he is a smart businessman. Not only he has a decent toy company going, he has a podcast going. He knows if he plays his card right, he can make a lot of money through the indies. And he has more creative control. So that's why he's probably one of the most successful in the people that came from WWE to do indies, besides Cody Rhodes. He's one of the best. No one can argue against that. Backstage, more women war game fiasco, because we need to drive this story to make you believe this is needed. We need a women's war game, so we're going to drive this story up your ass. Io, Rhea, and Alexa look for a replacement for Charlotte, but instead, Lash Legend and Nia Jax ambush them, as you can see, and the babyfaces get their butt kicked. Oh no, if only Charlotte was here to save us. She could have made the difference. I met Charlotte this year. She's a nice person. I met all four horsewomen at this point. I first met Mercedes Moné. She was very nice to us. If you guys remember, I met her 2 years ago at New York Comic Con. It was the same year that Mercedes Monet had that video appear from New York Comic Con when she was dressed as Woody. When someone asked her, what was the reason you left WWE? Can you tell us? And she got really snarky with the person that was asking her that question. That was the same year I met her. I think that happened the day before I went to meet her. And she was nice. She was very nice to us. I think they asked her a question she wasn't comfortable and she got nasty. I mean, shit happens. But she was very nice. The next person we met was Bailey. Bailey, amazing person. Very nice. And then that was last year. This year we met on the same day, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair was very nice. She was very appreciative. She really appreciated. She wasn't like whatever fan or whatever. All four horsewomen are very professional. If you are professional to them and you're nice to them. If you're a stan or if you're a bad wrestling fan that asks questions you shouldn't, you are gonna get shitted on. You know, I did tell Charlotte I wish on the first Evolution pay-per-view you main evented with Becky, and she said no. She was saying yes. She didn't say yes. She said Nikki and Ronda Rousey deserved to be in the main event for Evolution, and I'm like, okay, that's your opinion. We respected each other's opinion, but I really believe that her and Becky should have main evented. But she said Ronda was bringing more eyes to the company through the women division, so I'm like, okay, fair enough. Anyway, let's go back to more women business. Jade Cargill versus B-Fab. It was a non-title match, and if you don't know by now, it was a squash match. B-Fab gets a bid in on Jade when the match started, but typical Jade Cargill match fashion, she pretty much destroys B-Fab with the following: a forearm, fall-away slam, choke slam, powerbomb, and Jaded. She pins her, does her usual thing in the back, and that's done. Michin checks on B-Fab afterwards, but Jade pretty much calls them both out and doesn't care. She's like, whatever. Anyway, typical match. They announced more matches going forward for the next wing or leg of the Last Time Is Now tournament for next week. And Smackdown is getting... Oops, my microphone's in the way. We are getting Carmelo Hayes versus Bronson Reed. And not pictured is we're also going to have Penta versus Finn Balor. So we'll find out who advances out of those two matches next week. Carmelo Hayes cuts a promo after this was announced, saying that he wants a shot at John Cena, but first he'll handle Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed, laughing, interrupts him and basically threatens to end both Hayes and Cena. But anyway. Also, Aleister Black does a message. He cuts a dark promo about corrupting Damian Priest and now coming for everyone else. His feud with WWE is heating up. I believe they're going to meet up next week. Who knows? Alright. Penta versus Balor will be great. Yes, it's going to be a good match between the two. I hope so. So that will be a match to watch for next week. So main event time. Cody Rhodes versus Bronson Reed for the WWE Undisputed title. The Undisputed World Heavyweight title, even though we have a World Heavyweight title on the other show. Reed comes in with Heyman. Cody starts hot, but Reed powers him down. After the commercial break, Cody lands a disaster kick. Reed hits a jagged edge. Tsunami missed. He misses the tsunami. Cody Cutter connected, which was good. Cody tries a dive. Reed punches him out in mid-air, which was hilarious. Braun Breaker storms in the match and pretty much creates a DQ. So this match, it's the typical I'm the champ. I'm gonna challenge you for the title in the main event, and obviously because I don't expect you to win, we're going to figure out a way to DQ this match to make both members still hot and not put anyone down. So by doing that, they had Braun Breaker DQ it, and pretty much after the match, all hell breaks loose. Logan Paul comes, Breaker and Reed destroyed the living crap out of Cody. The Usos try to save him, but here comes Drew McIntyre. He runs out and wrecks everyone. Cody takes a Claymore and then a Tsunami. Heyman screams, anybody, reciprocating what he said earlier that night, saying, as I can pick anyone from any brand for War Games. So, we officially have a fourth person for the War Games match, and his name is Drew McIntyre. And pretty much we end Smackdown that way. It was a packed Smackdown. We got more development on the women's War Game match, trying to sell you that match is needed. So they're gonna keep selling it until you get tired of it, and you can't. And that's gonna be the War Games match that starts tonight. You know that's gonna be match number 1. Jey Uso and LA Knight advances to the tournament. Drogon versus Axiom was a nice match that delivered. Zack Ryder was a nice surprise, even though it should have been Matt Cardona that returned. Sami Zayn returned. Cody just getting annihilated by opponents. And the War Games keep developing. Overall, a decent SmackDown. Better than the last week. So hopefully they continue that momentum. We need this development to War Games, Survivor Series, whatever they want to call it, keep going. And more storyline will continue for the last time is now. Cena tournament. I am hoping for Carmelo Hayes to be the one to go against John Cena. That is, or someone young. Next week, you are going to have on Raw side Rusev going for a match. I believe, what's his name? Gunther is doing a match, and Gunther against someone, and Gunther is going to win. If Gunther goes against John Cena at the end, I'm going to be annoyed because Gunther doesn't need it. He's already over. He held the Intercontinental title for X amount of days. You don't need it. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you thought about the SmackDown for November 14th.